Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. This is going to be interesting. First of all, let me just say about my journal entry for December daily, December 1st yesterday, and December 2nd today. This was going to be my day for yesterday. I woke up with such high hopes, and this was on December 1st. I will get so much done. And then the day ended up more like this. So yesterday morning I got up, look at even my coffee cup, everything, my phone is not working, so I'm recording with my iPad right now. When I woke up this morning, my phone would not turn on, so I thought, oh my goodness, I didn't charge it. But then I thought, well, that's really strange because it was plugged into the charger. So I came out here to the workshop and I plugged it in, and it charged for like a minute. I shouldn't use the word like so much. It charged for about a minute. And then all of a sudden it came on really bright and it said 100% charged. And I said, wait a minute, that's really strange. So I unplugged it from the charger and brought it over here to start recording, and it turned off again and gave me the little, like an empty battery signal. Anyway, it's done that once recently, I would say a couple of weeks ago, and I had to restart it a couple of times and it stopped acting up. But here it is doing it again. So, and then on top of that, so yesterday my holder up there that holds the phone, it broke. So there's nothing to hold the phone. The iPad is on a shelf, which works out conveniently. If it's a nice recording, I may just keep using that for a little while. So I had to sit down this morning and just type let me get this paper clip off of here. And yes, this is a rusty paper clip on top of a beautiful photograph, and that's all right. I wrote on there, hold that thought, because she is holding this big journal entry that I typed this morning. I came out here a couple of times, and it's really cold here, by the way, for us. It's like, it was supposed to get in, again, it's about 35 degrees right now. It was supposed to get down to in the 20s perhaps last night. And this workshop gets really cold. It has a cement floor, really no insulation. We've got it set up nicely. I have a lot of textiles in here. I have a big quilt hanging over the door. I have a lot of things in here. I mean, I just feel like having blankets and stuff over the windows and doors keeps the warmth in once it gets warm. So I come out here first thing in the morning and turn the heater on, and then I go in and I make my coffee and I do a few things on the computer. And then when I come out here, it's tolerable and it's really nice. I feel like the cooler temperature keeps me energized. Anyway, that has been my day so far. Let me show you a few things. So my entry, my actual personal journal entry. So December 1st, I will get so much done, and I'm going to put a little arrow to this and say what actually happened. So that's that. And okay, so the inside of this journal was just a red fabric, and I've been playing with gesso, paint, the coffee stain, different types of staining and layering. I feel like these 2 pages are just getting started. I'm also following along this year with Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. I started to do my own thing for December daily, and it just feels really nice to sit back and follow along with someone who has prompts already written out. I love her style. We're different. I mean, I feel like she doesn't like as much grunge, but I love to watch her create these beautiful collages that she makes. And one of the things I want to do here, so I ended up sewing a piece of fabric on the inside of mine. My sewing machine's broken too. I never even finished what what this big scribble is all about. I sat down yesterday morning to do some work. Okay, first of all, before I start rambling, let me show you what I'm going to do. My mother showed me how to do this when I was really young. I'm going to make some homemade lace, or a ruffle, not lace, to go on the top of this page. And while I am talking, okay, I see my needle, I'll be working on this. So I cut it 3 times longer than that area up there. And I need to get some thread. What kind do I want to use? I don't really want that brown. Let's just pick up one of these and pull off. We don't need too much. And thread the needle. I feel like today, I cannot believe today is Wednesday. It feels to me like Monday and Tuesday were just sucked into a black hole. That's what it feels like to me. And I have had some complicating factors that have altered what my day would have been. What my days would have been. I'm just going to throw this out here to the universe. I went to the scrap exchange yesterday, and for the first time ever, I could not stay there. I felt so sad and so empty. A really good worker from there has been fired. That's the second person who's been fired in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know how many people have been written up. The heart of what was always the scrap exchange is being cut out of the place. I try not to get into too much drama online or on this channel, but I couldn't stay there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I felt, knowing that this person had been fired, and here it is right before Christmas. Anyway, I don't, and those of you local, if you know this person, you will know why I feel so sick. There couldn't be a nicer person to the customers, or a harder worker. Someone who never calls out for any reason. It's pretty incredible. Anyway, that's why I'm not there. I refuse. If the Lord gives me a way to not work there and support myself while I'm looking for something else, I won't be there. So there's that rant. There is that rant. I'm just tying a knot here. Okay, if you wanted to make a really nice ruffle, you would take a piece of fabric that's bigger than this if you wanted a bigger ruffle, and you would fold it in half, and you would press it so you have a really nice edge, and you would just make like a basting stitch. I think it's called a basting stitch. You know, once it's pressed and it's going to hold its fold there, and I'm not going to put a fold in here. I'm not interested in a smooth edge, but I'm just going to make this stitch back and forth on the needle, and I'm also not worried about perfection. I'm trying to keep it in the center of the fabric. And okay, so I've tied a knot in the end of, this is a big needle, tied a knot in the end of that thread, so hopefully I don't just pull it right off the end. But if I did that, if I pulled the fabric right off of the thread and had to start again, that would be completely in line with the way the last 2 days have been. Sometimes I think the universe makes us slow down. Okay, let me chat about the sewing machine. It's been acting crazy. Missing stitches, the stitches have been bunching up, and you know, I'm out of compressed air. Sometimes I spray all of the dust out. When you're working with paper and fabric, it ends up getting a lot of, you know, a lot of dust and debris. But we have a shop vac, and Jason said, you know, just take the shop vac out there and put the airflow on reverse so that it's blowing air, and he said it's really powerful, and it is. That worked. I actually took part of the front off of my sewing machine, and I blew all of the dust out, and then just started practicing stitches on some fabric, and You know, it's especially when I do a zigzag stitch. It makes this loud noise and then it just starts to bunch up. Well, I figured out what the problem is. I took everything out, like the bobbin case, and looked in that area really good, made sure it was clean. Somehow, let me show you. This is the bobbin. So I took that out. My mom taught me how to thread a sewing machine when I was really young too, which is cool that she took the time to do all of that. And then this is the bobbin case. And I don't know if you can see, it's kind of messy right now. I tried some ways to just fix this temporarily. I've ordered another bobbin case, and I went out yesterday looking for one. I went to Joann Fabrics. They have mostly Singer supplies. That's something to keep in mind when you're ordering a sewing machine. Amazon's so quick now. I should have a new bobbin case by Friday, but I think what happened, I think at some point when my needle was coming down into this area, it went through, there was an actual hole here, and then it caused, there were two holes. There was one that was just punctured in the center of the plastic so that this outer rim was still smooth, and then there was another one closer to the edge, and they ended up connecting so that it made a notch, and the thread I think was catching in that. I tried E6000. I put a little bit in there to see if I could make almost like a resin, you know, to fill that in and make it smooth. And that, maybe I wasn't patient enough, but I didn't feel like that was going to work. And then I took a file and filed that down a little bit. It's still acting up. I don't know, I'm just over it. I'm going to wait for the new bobbin case to come in, and I guess necessity is the mother of invention, because that kind of put me in the mood to make this little homemade ruffle for the top. Plus I want to cover up that stitching. I like a lot of stuff. I like a lot of, I guess, a lot of pomp and circumstance on my pages, and a lot of grunge and nonsense and just all of that stuff. I wonder if I'm going to end up needing a new sewing machine though. I've had this one. This has been a workhorse of a sewing machine. I recommend it. It's the Brother Runway, and I am not easy on a sewing machine. I will put my whole journals under there and sew, and that you can't put this much thickness under there, but what I mean is that, like, I put this page under there. You can see the stitching where I came back and added that piece of fabric, and you know, maybe it pulls on the needle. But I have had 2 amazing years from this sewing machine. If it's time to get it cleaned or, you know, worked on, that would make perfect sense to me, because I'm not just sewing fabric. I'm sewing paper. I have sewn through little spots of leather. I sew charms onto pages. I've just really put that sewing machine through the ringer. So I'm not upset that it's starting to act up. I've given it a run for its money, and it's been worth it. The sewing machine, I think I got it for just a little over $100. And if you break that down into 2 years, I mean, that's not even $10 a month. So it's been well worth it. And I think I can fix it. I'm going to get some compressed air. I'm waiting on the new bobbin cover, and I may end up taking the whole back off of the sewing machine just to see what I can figure out. All right, so let me see. Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, one of her prompts was to use a black and white photo. I have just fallen in love with these old photographs and adding some color to them. And there again, my printer's not working. The printer part is, but the scanner part has decided to not work. So something in the universe is making me think completely outside of every box I've been used to for the last however long. When you make a homemade ruffle, this basting stitch, you know, you can, once you get it in there, you can gather the fabric on it and make it however you want it to be. Now, I'm gonna actually try the sewing machine. I think it'll do a straight stitch. So let me put the bobbin case in. I'm going to give it a shot. Let's put that in and put these covers back on here. bobbin in. And then this cover over the bobbin. All right. The sewing machine is on. Okay, let me just see what's under there. Nothing that's going to get in the way. Let me see if I can just get a straight stitch out of this thing. So I just sewed a straight stitch across there. That basting stitch gives it the shape you want it to have, and this is messy. If you were working on a dress, you know, I think about all the books I've read of life in the 1800s and all of that. Women were some of them were so careful with their stitching. They became amazing seamstresses in their own little family, in their own little home. They had to make clothes. And I'm probably going to put more in this pocket. I'm going to be adding all sorts of things. I want this to be a really big, chunky journal. One more thing I want to show you, and I think this is the cutest idea ever. I'm planning to go get some felt, and that's another thing. I was supposed to be getting felt yesterday and masking tape, and I forgot my list. You would think that I would have it on my phone or in my planner, but I had written it at my desk yesterday morning when I was going through things online that I needed to take care of. Every morning I sit down and I write out things that have to be done, my packaging and stuff like that. But this little, so this is old, I think. I found this in some doll things. It is a couple of little mittens that have been cut out of felt, and each one is 2 pieces, so that you have an opening just like an actual mitten. Someone has stitched through, and it's interesting. Why is it, I think it got faded. I think that was sitting in the sun or something. I mean, I don't know what to think. It's so green on this side, and the stitching is really light on that side. But you can see how the stitch comes around the bottom. Maybe it's, I just don't know. I don't know why the color changed there. But I want to make some of these to be tabs on my pages, and there's this hair clip. I want to buy some of those too, to clip these on the page so that there's a mitten on each one, and you can put it on the page, and then you have this fun little hair clip sitting there. So I'm going to get some felt. I have embroidery thread, and I have yarn, all this different stuff. It should be easy to have something to stitch around the edge. But that is so far. Tomorrow I hope to have the video when I'm supposed to have it up. Not that there's I mean, nobody's making me do this. I want to do this. Maybe I will have these pages more what I want them to be. And that's just a beautiful old image that I printed on photo paper as well. These first 2 pages of my journal I glued together. This was a smaller piece, and I like having this edge around here. Probably not quite done with this, but after telling you about how my last couple of days have been, you might understand why I have not been sitting out here, you know, perfecting these pages to the point that I'm happy with them. I have some packs for today, so I will be back really soon. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a good day and that your December is going to be really productive. Bye for now.